Manchester United fans are demanding the sacking of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer this morning. Some demanding that he should be handing in his resignation with immediate effect. Ole out is trending globally. And at the same time, Tottenham Hotspur have entered into talks with a sensational return move for Mauricio Pochettino. He could leave Paris Saint-Germain. He could return to the Premier League. He could be the new Tottenham manager again. But should Manchester United be looking to bring Mauricio Pochettino to Old Trafford and move Solskjaer on? Hit that like and that share button. Here we go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the terrace. It's the morning after the night before. Man United fans are still in pain, would be the only word I can find to describe the feeling this morning. The football merry-go-round continues. Life goes on. Life moves forward. There's been big breaking news all morning. Tottenham Hotspur have entered official talks with Mauricio Pochettino about a sensational return move to the Premier League and to White Hart Lane. There have been some mooty reports for a few days now that Mauricio Pochettino is not necessarily happy at Paris Saint-Germain. And we can only really speculate as to why, but it doesn't appear that things are as rosy as he once thought. According to the likes of Alistair Gold and The Athletic this morning, Potch is willing, happy, and almost pushing in some respects for a move back to Tottenham. Max Allegri is about to rejoin Juventus, and it has, of course, been confirmed this morning by Fabrizio Romano that not only is Max Allegri rejoining Juve after the sacking of Pirlo, but also Zinedine Zidane is officially leaving his post at Real Madrid. So what next for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? There are people that have sat on the fence. There are people that have been Ole out the whole time, unequivocally. There are people that have been Ole in the whole time, unequivocally. I want to gauge and understand how you are feeling this morning about this situation. I don't care what's trending on socials in relation to your opinion. How do you think, how do you feel right now as a Man United fan, as a football fan in general about Ole? And with Mauricio Pochettino reportedly unhappy at Paris Saint-Germain, with Zidane seemingly available, should Manchester United be making a move? Conte available. Should Manchester United be making a move for another manager? Do you view this season in exactly the same way as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as an unsuccessful one? As many of us said, for the last 61 games, let's judge at the end of the season. We definitely improved in terms of points and goals and moving up in the league. But Silverware was imperative this year, and we have not done it. And not only did Man United fail to win Silverware, they crashed out in spectacular style. There's a comment here from Come On You Spurs who says, Poch wants Tottenham. He doesn't want Man United. And that may very well be true. Maybe he only wants to return to Tottenham Hotspur. And that's fair enough. My view is, what's my club doing? Because I'm of the belief now, and I'm not going to disrespect Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because I think there's a lot of things behind the scenes, foundational-wise, that he's reinstilled and brought into Manchester United. But I do believe he's come to the end of the road. No emotion, no over-the-top, hyperbolic outcry and rant and shouting and screaming and crying. Reflected on it the majority of the night, if I'm being honest. I really didn't sleep too good. And I just believe we're as far as we can go. And with Zidane available, Potch seemingly unhappy, for some people, maybe even Conte, whoever it may be, you've got your own opinions. There are some elite level managers available in the market right now, or at the very least, better managers than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Should Man United now be acting like a gargantuan club and saying, let's go and try and get the best in class? The best in class is available. Let us go and get them now. That's what I want to speak to you all about this morning. I've shared the link on the Discord server. I've shared the link in the live comments as well. Tottenham fans, I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you today as well. Potch may be returning. This has been reported by Alistair Gold, and we'll go through his report in a few moments. But it says here, The Argentinian left Tottenham 18 months ago. I love how they put left, not sacked, but left a couple of months ago. But he could already be in line to make an incredible return to the North London club. He says that Tottenham Hotspur have held talks with Mauricio Pochettino over a return to the club. And he goes, the Argentinian left North London 18 months ago after a spell out of the game during the pandemic and has recently joined French side Paris Saint-Germain. Mauricio Pochettino has won 2 domestic trophies to break his duct as a manager, but was pipped to the post to the league title by Lille. Paris Saint-Germain reached the semi-finals. I don't care about any of that. I want to get to what's going on here. He says, however, Paris Saint-Germain is a very difficult club to the Argentinians' different club to the Argentinians' previous experiences of management. And it is believed that the politics behind the scenes are proving challenging for a man who essentially wants to coach players. And we've kind of had this, it's been something that's been mooted a number of times before. I've seen it out there that, one of the biggest issues that the Emerys and the Thomas Tuchels had is that there's a lot of politics behind the scenes. Some of the players are almost treated as royalty. There's a bit of a discipline issue at the football club. And maybe that's something that's sort of making Mauricio Pochettino think, maybe I'm better off away from this environment. It says, Football.London understands that not only have Spurs spoken to Pochettino about a return to the club, but the 49-year-old would be interested in coming back to N17. It says the Argentinian revolutionized Spurs during his 5.5-year stint, blah, 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 blah. Potch has also helped them. I'm not really interested in any of that. It says here, however, he is now believed to be refreshed after almost a year out of the game and a very difficult experience as football manager at Paris Saint-Germain. Now it's down to Tottenham to negotiate with the French giants to bring Poch back to North London and release him from the final year of his contract. Remember, he only had 1 year remaining, so it wasn't like he was given a 4 or 5 year deal there. And the way I look at this is simple. Spurs, go for it. I think Tottenham Hotspur made the biggest mistake ever. The biggest mistake ever in disrespecting Pochettino. I know I've given him a lot of stick myself. And the stick I was giving him when he joined Paris Saint-Germain was not really about him, because I don't think the addition of a very good coach at Man United gets us back to the elite end of the spectrum we want to be at. But it does improve us, especially from a football point of view. But I said all along I wanted Potch. Months and months ago, I wanted Potch. As a Spurs fan, if Daniel Levy and Enoch care about getting you back on side, reappoint Potch, give him more power, give him more control, give him the players you want. You may find Harry Kane stays. You may find that there's a rejuvenation of certain players. Spend money and give him what he wants and needs. Let him put the cameras up in training that started the beginning of the end for him in relation to him being sacked. And from my point of view as a Man United fan, we should be knocking on the door as well. If Poch is really not that happy, why are we allowing another top manager to go to a rival club without any kind of challenge? I think it would be a disgrace. Jay here says, Ollie has killed my spirit. If he stays next season, I refuse to watch football next season, is what Jay has had to say. Get your super chats in now for us, people. Get your super chats in, get your comments in as well. Lee here says, keep Ollie in. He's doing a fantastic job. Thank you, Lee, for that. Really appreciate that one, bro. Do you know what's crazy? This shows how bad last night's result is. All season, Man United fans have had the ability to banter Liverpool because we've been better than them in the league. They're out of all the cup competitions. The season's ended, and Liverpool fans are happier again than Man United fans. And that matters to me. That matters as a Man United supporter. It matters to me. I want to feel better than all my rival fans do. And City are on top of the world. Chelsea fans are really excited about next year, win, lose, or draw on Saturday. Even Arsenal fans seem happier than Man United fans right now. It's just a horrible, horrible feeling. It truly is. Let's do some more of your comments that are coming through. We've got loads of you backstage ready to come on and have your say. Max says, next year is Ollie's third season. If he doesn't do something major, he has to go. In Klopp's third season, he finished second with 98 points and won the Champions League. Yeah, third full season. Absolutely. The pressure on Ollie next year is immense. It's immense. It's not even about, of course, you need to improve, but it's beyond just improving on the field of play. There's so much that needs to be done at this club. There's no doubt about it. By the way, make sure that you're hitting that like button, people. Just under 1,000 people tuning in, only on 78 likes. What is going on? Make sure you hit it, people. The like button isn't, do you know the like button isn't even really about whether you like what I'm saying anymore. It's just a show of support for the channel. You're obviously here because you like the Football Terrace. You may not always agree with my opinions. Please give it a whack. It would mean a great deal to me. Deshaun here says, Terry, 4 years without a trophy. Is it? Where do you go from here as United? Surely this ain't good enough. I agree. And that's why for me, my proper end of season reviews of, you know, what we've achieved in the Premier League, we met expectations. In cup competitions, we failed. We didn't win anything. There was no expectation to win the Champions League. We went out too early, though. But we had then had an opportunity to win an easier competition. We got all the way to the final, and we didn't turn up. I watched the majority of the game back again this morning. We just didn't turn up. We went all in with the starting lineup. No subs in 90 minutes. And that isn't the only reason we haven't won a trophy in 4 years, because Ollie hasn't been here for 4 years. So let's not blame the whole 4-year issue on Ollie. And that's my point today. I believe he's taken us as far as he can go. I've been saying that for about 12 months. But although I was willing to see what he could do, I was willing to be proved wrong. I'm not one of, there are a lot of hyperbolic over-the-top fans still this morning. You know, well, his legendary status removed. Seen people talk about there's been no improvements in 3 years. That sort of talk is honestly, it smells like you've eaten dog shit. It smells so bad what you're saying, right? It's terrible. But he has reached the end of the line as far as I'm concerned. Let's keep it serious here. Because you know the problem is when you go off all hyperbolic and over the top, people stop listening. It's like, oh, you're just talking nonsense now. Ollie has taken this team as far as he can go. I don't think he has the tactical nous for the next step. With the summer signings we're going to make, Ollie will probably make top 4 again next year. Probably will. Probably will make top 4 again next year. And there lies the biggest problem at this club. 4 or 5 weeks ago, I saw hundreds of Man United fans being told to shut their mouths and stop talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and focus on the Glazers. That appears to have died a complete and utter death. And I understand that last night, a lot of it was down to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Of course I do. I blamed him also. But remember, as long as there is top 4 qualification, these owners will keep him at the club. That's the sobering thought. Ollie not being sacked shouldn't be the bit that triggers you the most. People, again, are always key stage 1 with their anger. Mine is deeper rooted than that. It's knowing that actually at board level, everything that's happened in the last 3 years is deemed acceptable. That should be the point you are focusing on. Because as long as the owners deem it acceptable, it will never improve. Ever. Ever. It can't. There is not an organization, school, business, college, or even family unit that operates to high levels, and achieves things and has harmony where the core central principles are mediocre to poor. Nothing thrives in that environment. Nothing thrives. That's the key sobering point. And the reason I bring that up, I'm going to go to your calls in a minute, is very, very simple. Because Poch is seemingly available. Zidane is available. Conte is available. Ten Hag is seen as available. These are all managers, in my opinion, that are better than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Every single one of them is better than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Man United have had him here for 2 and a bit seasons. We can barely get past semis. Didn't turn up in a final. And we're still that stage behind the teams that are winning the league titles. There is an opportunity here that we should not miss. And I tell you why we should not miss a top manager. We missed the boat twice with Pep. Our timing of Fergie retiring and having Pep take over was always off. We should have been run better and landed either Pep or Jurgen Klopp. We keep seeming to miss top managers. And when we bring in a big name with a great CV, they're always past their best. That's my key anger this morning as a Manchester United fan. Yes, last night was a disgrace and it was embarrassing to get beat by a club who's the city they're from, has a population 25,000 less than that fit in Old Trafford. Everyone that lives in Villarreal, even if they brought their pets, brought their dogs and cats along with them and their parrots, maybe a few hamsters and rabbits, they couldn't fill Old Trafford. That's who beat us. Man United's waiting list for a season ticket is bigger than the population of that city. That's annoying, frustrating. But it's what's going on behind the scenes that should really scare you. Spurs are going to end up appointing a better manager than we've got. Madrid will replace Zidane with the top manager. Another rival will go and pick up Zidane. Conte will go to another club and win a league title. While we're sitting around pissing in the wind. That has to be the focus. Yes, Ollie ain't good enough. Cool. Get that. I agree with you. Look beyond the end of your nose, dear sir. I've got some more super chats before I go to your calls. As I said, we want to speak to Tottenham fans. We want to speak to Man United fans this morning. Make sure those like buttons are being hit. KC here says, for United, the best option based on your squad is Zizou. He will command respect and plays good attacking football. Will get the best out of Martial and Pogba. I'm hearing you on that one. Simon here says, Terry, it has always been about fixing the club and rebuilding from the ground up, and it will take Ollie another 3 to 5 years to do that. It's time fans wake up and realize that sacking Ollie is dumb. But it isn't. If the club was run right, you can continue what Ollie has started. You don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And there's a few people saying, Terry, stop being a fool. We're not getting rid of the owners. It's not about getting rid of the owners. It's about knowing where the problems lie. Because a well-run football club, just think about what's being said in those two comments. We can't get rid of the owners and we need Ollie to make us rebuild. No, we need a plan. We need the board to rebuild us. And yes, you listen to people like Ollie, but we can continue this rebuilding process with a better coach if we were run right. That's where the anger is for me. And my anger is pointing at the Glazers. Doesn't mean they're going to sell because I'm angry, but I'm focusing on the real problem. Because if you think just sacking Ollie and appointing Zidane and no other changes, no improvements in recruitment, no improvement in expectations happens, anybody that thinks that without those other changes, we're going back to the top anyway, you're pissing in the wind. You're getting urine all over your legs, all over your shoes, maybe even in the face. Stop it. Focus on the real problem at hand here. We're going to start going to your calls now this morning. I want to know what you're thinking. I want to know what you're feeling. Oh, actually, we can have up to 12 people in the background. We upgraded our plan here with, I can't remember what they're called now. StreamYard a few days ago. Let's do some comments. United should go and get Van der Sar. I hear you. Lee P says, when you watch The United Way by Eric Cantona, it shows how United used to be. Absolutely. And so much of that film is about attitude, mentality, direction, expectations. And until that's right from the ownership, it will never be right on the pitch. Never, ever, ever. First caller we're getting on is Brummy Hotspur, who's a Tottenham fan this morning. Welcome back. Welcome to the show. Mauricio Pochettino may be on his way back to Tottenham. Give me your thoughts.
It's going, Terry. I felt so sorry for you yesterday. As for Pochettino coming back, I would love him back. I can't wait to get him back if we get him. But are the board going to back him the way he needs to be backed? And that's what I'm unsure about. The second return isn't always a good return.
So, excuse me, I take a glass of water. No, you're absolutely right. The second return doesn't always work. For it to happen, I think Potch is going to have to be given cast iron assurances of the control and power that he's going to have at the club. I think he's going to need to be given money. There's going to have to be the promises. You know, all the things that were wrong in why he left and why he was sacked, that's all got to be resolved, I think, before he comes back. So maybe they've already told him that they're going to do those things. In terms of Manchester United, do you think, forget you're a Spurs fan for a minute. Do you think that Manchester United should be looking to go after someone like a Potch?
Oh, 100%. Ollie's just, I was watching him last night and he just didn't have a clue. There was no expression. You were watching Emery and he was up and down the line, encouraging the players. He just stood there with no clue on his face whatsoever. They definitely need somebody like a Potch or someone like that. It's just come through on Sky Sports. I think Zidane has now left Madrid as well.
Yes, Zidane has. Yeah, he's gone, and that would be my point to a lot of people this morning. Legitimately, my point to a lot of people that there are some top managers available right now in the market, and that's my fear that we miss out on them again. It really, really is. Listen, bro, thank you for calling into the show today and having your say. It means a great deal to us. Thank you very much indeed. Next up, we're gonna go to Carl. We're gonna get Carl on the show here. Morning, mate. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm very well.
You're not doing too well.
No, I'm not really. Remind everybody who you support.
I'm a Liverpool fan. We talked last year for a bit, but I've been busy with work and stuff.
Good. Yeah, what you phoning to say this morning, mate?
Well, three things. Number one things, Tottenham should forget Pochettino. Second time around is not a good look. It just cried desperation. I think Man United. Second thing, I think Man United should go after Conte or Zinedine Zidane. For multiple reasons. With Conte, I think Manchester United lacks football discipline. I don't think they not disciplined compared to PSG, but they lack football discipline, and that's what I saw again with that goal with Lindelof. That's a stupid mistake. You got to clear that out with your head. Again with Bailly, he made a lot of mistake. Not being able to control the ball as a center back, lots of misstep. And then the third thing is with Harry Kane. Again, I do agree with you guys that you guys shouldn't be buying Harry Kane, but you do need him. Like if there's a striker out there, forget Haaland, forget the some of those young players. You guys need to be back. You guys needs to be back being Man United, and it can't be done in 2 years. Can't be done in 3 years. It needs to be now, and I think football is kind of suffering for that, especially in the Premier League, because you guys don't want to be in terms of the league. You guys don't want the league to start being like Serie A or even the La Liga, and that's what they're suffering out there. There's no real team. Everybody knows who's going to be out there. You guys don't want Man City and Liverpool and those teams always being at the top. You need to be part of the conversation.
No, I
need
hear
to be
you
in the Champions League.
I hear you on that completely, mate. Thank you very much for your call. Good words, well spoke, buddy. Thank you very, very much indeed. And it's true. I'm reading sort of stuff on socials, reading your comments coming through, and it's a lot of what's said is very much on the same kind of train of thought. Common sense. I've read the word common sense a lot today. Man United lack common sense. A well-run club sees better managers available and strikes while the iron is hot. Super chat here from Patrick says, this is purely down to the players. Bailly needs to go. Lindelof needs to go. We need right wingers and a striker 1,000%. Next on the show, we're going to go to Julian to have his say with us this morning. Welcome back to the terrace. Who do you support, buddy?
I'm a United supporter, Terry. Very disappointed United supporter.
I bet you are.
Yeah, last night, I was watching the match. I didn't even, as soon as De Gea's spot kick was saved, I turned off, went to bed. Wasn't even a point in watching the trophy. Wasn't a point in, unfortunately, even in tuning into your show, because it was also quite late here last night. But there's just so many things that last night really showed us. The fact that Woodward was in the stands, and he was smiling when we went to penalties, like it really just goes to show how far this club has fallen. The fact that he was actually even in the stands after the whole ESL saga as well. That says something. The fact that he can be there with that smug look on his face, and there's so many things to take from last night. But the problem being is that even if we change manager, does it really change the situation for us in terms of what we're going to be achieving? I mean, I've heard rumors that the board is only going to be sitting down after last night's match to discuss potential transfers. You should have done that months ago. Where is the priorities? Where is the planning? There just seems to be absolutely none of that in place. And yeah, it just further goes to show what the aims of the board are for this club. They don't care about the football. All they care about is dividends and what they can take out of the club. I mean, yes, they've invested over the years, but it's always been in the wrong place. We've lacked a centre back for years, a decent centre back. They brought in Maguire for overly inflated amount of money. And I think that was another wow signing. We've spent, so therefore there should be results. Therefore the fans should be happy and so on. And it's just not good enough. The coaching staff, the director of football, all of these things, they all just are completely overlooked. It's insane. It is absolutely insane that we, yet again, not discrediting the team we played last night. I mean, 100%, they obviously wanted it more than us. I think we were also more comfortable in our history of being in European finals before. And I think that's one of the big factors that kept us from winning last night, was that we were just like, oh, we've been here before. It's cool. We've also come from behind so many times this season to win matches. So, it's fine. Something will happen. Individual brilliance, perhaps. But where do we go from here? Zidane, I think, would probably be the best appointment in terms of manager. I don't think Pochettino would actually change much. I mean, he went to PSG and he's won some trophies there with them and stuff. But I mean, it's you compare it to the Premier League, you compare it to the Spanish league. It's in my mind, at least, it's not really up there. And I don't really see what changes he could bring into the club, to be honest. And I don't think he's a character that the board would actually end up listening to. I think when you're looking at managers, I think Zidane is actually quite a bit more outspoken.
Yeah. Do you know what's interesting though? That's the key issue. So I get why Ollie's getting all the focus today, and I focused on him last night. But our board, one of the reasons they overlooked appointing Edwin van der Sar is because they basically said he was too challenging. He was demanding too much. Yep. So when I think of Conte's, I think of Zidane's. The reason we're not going to go for them is because they're not agreeable. They will push back. And as some people say, that's toxic, but it isn't. The reason why Conte fell out with Chelsea is because Chelsea were working right as a club. Look how long it's taken them to recover since Conte in terms of getting back to, he was right. Why is he leaving Inter? Because they've got themselves into a financial mess, and they're gonna sell his top players and whatnot. And he's like, well, I ain't having this. I'm better than this. I'm leaving. There's a good thing about looking at a Conte. There's a good thing about looking at a Zidane. One of the reasons I want them is they will expose people again to the board being the problem. And I think we need more of that as Man United fans, because, as I say, of course, Ollie deserves criticism. Of course, it's fair to say Ollie isn't good enough. But where your anger should really be is these parasites are going to let him stay and play. These parasites are happy with our season because we made the Champions League. And if that isn't your total focus point, you are misguided as far as I'm concerned. Julian, thank you very much for your call and coming on. Great words being spoken there. Top man. Thank you. Next on the show, Pav is back with us. What you saying, buddy?
Yeah, I'm still pissed, man. I was watching your stream last night after the match, mate. I feel your pain. I feel exactly the same, man. It was a shambles what happened last night. And I knew this morning we were going to get a load of PR spin it. You know it was coming. Like you got multiple people saying we're looking at this, and it's like, I don't care. I really don't care anymore. I've lost. Beginning of the season, I said, I come on your stream and I said I don't trust this club and I don't trust the players. But halfway through the season, I was letting them back in. I was like, there's a little bit of hope, there's a bit of trust. I'm trusting these, and they will let us down like they did last night. And while we have Tuchel, Pep, Klopp, our club will never win anything. It doesn't matter who we have, because this club is a shambles from top to bottom. We could go get a Conte, we can go get a Zidane, but we know for a fact after 2 years we're going to be chopping and changing managers. So it's got to a point where I'm going to be settling for whatever. I can't see us winning any big trophies. Some of these players, I'm sorry, like some of these players, it's out of order, the racial abuse they receive and all of their families who receive abuse. But some of you aren't good enough for this club. I hope you do well at other places, but we have to get rid of a lot of players out of this squad. What I saw last night, you've got 2 centre backs, one of them who constantly gets bullied on a weekly basis, and another one who thinks it's funny to do fucking gymnastics to try to clear a ball instead of headering it away. I'm sick and tired of people coming out after defeats. Oh, we're almost there. We're nearly there. We're going to do this. Mate, we've been hearing stuff all season, last year, the season before. Nothing changes at this club. For me, it doesn't matter who we bring in player-wise, because I don't trust whoever's at the top making these decisions. I haven't even heard anything about a new CEO. What's going on with that? I don't trust this Murtaugh. I don't trust Darren Fletcher. I'm sorry, Ollie, but you've done what you can, and a lot of us have a lot of respect for you. But I think you've done what you can with these set of players. Your coaching staff are absolute trash. Mike Phelan, I don't know what you do at the club. I've seen you tweet more than actually putting input onto the training. McKenna, Carrick, I'm sorry, you're underqualified. You need to go elsewhere and learn your trade, because you've been here for a long time, and I've not seen any improvements on that pitch, especially defensive improvements. I don't know what's going on in that department, but yeah, I'm still pissed. Even like we could say in a few days' time, we might be back to normal, but we know for a fact as fans, we're gonna be feeling the same constantly over season after season. It's just I don't know what to say, mate.
No, listen, I totally understand where you're coming from, and my thing is, it's not about not trusting Myrtle or Fletcher. For me, it's I don't trust the way we run as a football club. I believe people like them, they will do the job to the best of their ability, but I feel that everybody's got one hand tied behind their back because of how we operate as a football club. So, by the way, yes, we can get better coaching staff. You know, we can get better people in class to do those jobs. But the point is, our owners, maybe apart from coaching, in terms of running the club, they don't want better people because they want agreeable people. They want people an echelon or 2 down because it's easier for them to dictate and dominate them. You know, higher level people will just say, I ain't working under those conditions, and it will expose them. So it almost becomes a bit of a perfect storm. We don't get to see things exposed how we want because the club will no longer employ best in class because they just want to kind of hide behind the failings of the people at the front. You know, as bad as Woodward is, the owners appointed him and kept him in place this whole time. As bad as most people think Solskjaer is, our owners think he's good enough because he's getting them Champions League football and the money's coming in. Do you see my point here? It doesn't matter. We see all these problems, and none of these things have ever been resolved in the last 8 or 9 years. That's why the anger should be where it is. Of course, Ollie, for me, like I've said for a while, I want Ollie to win, so I will support him game to game to game. But I didn't think he was good enough to get us back to the highest level. Last night was further proof for me as an individual. But it isn't about turning around to people that were 100% Ollie's going to get us back there. I'm one of these people where I don't take any joy from that. For me, the way I look at it is very simple. The only thing I ask today of Man United fans is no more excuses in relation to Ollie. We need to now focus on the ball to move him on because we need a better coach. We need someone better looking after these players because we're not being. This is where it comes the other side of the argument. So because we're not run well, we need the best in-house in terms of coaches and managers. We need that to be able to get the very best tune possible out of a poorly run football club. And I just think Ollie's taken us as far as he can do. And you may be an Ollie inner, you may love him and you may respect him, but you have to look at last night and see the major problems. You have to. If you're ignoring that, if you're still sitting on the fence over whether or not you think Ollie is good enough, I think you're deluding yourselves. I really, really do think people are deluding themselves. Pav, thanks for calling in and having your say, mate. Thank you very, very
Cheers,
much
man.
indeed. Appreciate that, buddy. Thank you. Next on the show, we're going to go to Ads. Ads is here with us. What you saying, bro?
Yeah, man. I hope you're well. Just very upset at the moment. I was in tears on stream last night. So it was embarrassing, man. It's embarrassing. It's a defeat against a team that we were supposed to be, and any team we're supposed to be every single team we come up against, and it's like that's not our mission. It's like that's not our mission anymore to be every single team. It's just upsetting, man. Listen, I don't think there's any positives yesterday, other than the roundup, the early penalty shootouts until the end, until fucking David De Gea missed. A lot of people blaming him. I don't agree with it. He's a goalkeeper. What the fuck's he meant to do? It's not like he's gonna smash in the top right corner. It's just like he has to take accountability for what he did. Fair enough, but when they say we lost the game because of him, like strictly just because of him, is a joke. It's weakness. It's weakness.
You know what it is, mate? He was poor in terms of saving the pens. I thought his goalkeeping his goalkeeping in the shootout was poor. Although there was a lot of good penalties hit, but we didn't lose last night because of De Gea. We didn't lose last night because Pogba had a bad game. We didn't lose last night just because Rashford had a poor game. We didn't even lose last night just because Ollie is not good enough. These are all symptoms of the major problem at the football club, and of course they all played a part in last night's individual game. But then you ask that question: why are we always doing this? Why have we got to this point? This is the crescendo. This is the kind of the epitome, the embodiment of how this club has been operating over the last 8 or 9 years. And of course, Ollie has to be criticised. He got the formation wrong, got the starting lineup wrong. He made terrible substitutions and everything else. And someone in the comments here, you're right, says, Terry, you were going after Ollie Outers before last night. And I was, and I stand by that. Although I think Ollie needs to be moved on, I will not stand shoulder to shoulder with Ollie Outers because they don't actually focus on the root cause problem at the football club. And they also are disrespectful to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, where you don't need to be disrespectful to a club legend. I think, show some decorum and have some respect. Plus, the biggest problem I have with Ollie Outers isn't that they don't think Ollie's good enough, because I agree with them on that point. It's this notion of he's done nothing. There's no improvements. He has improved this, but we've gone as far as we can go now. And I just don't like the hyperbolic nature of it, of what they say, the lies they tell about him, the rumors they spread. Of course, I'm going to criticize that. Why would I not? Just because me and Ollie Outers share one key thought, which is we don't think Ollie's good enough, doesn't mean I'm going to side with them when they lie about him and they spread rumors about him and they bullshit about him and they swear about him and they say things about his wife and his kids and everything else. That I can't stand shoulder to shoulder with that. I'm not a polarized person. It's like, we share one major belief together, so I'll stand by everything they say and do. No, get the hell out of here. But he does need to go. In terms of Potch being available, is that something you think Man United should explore?
No, I don't rate Potch, really, to be honest with you. I'm going to be serious. Listen, he's a good manager. He's a good manager. He's earned his respect, and there's a reason why he gets talked about. But to the extent that he does, I don't really think that it should be as high as it is. But if he comes to Manchester United, I mean, so it's not going to be too much of a change for me. I don't see anything changing at all, other than how we play. Really, to be honest with you, how we're viewed as a team won't change. We'll still be that team that build up all of this gas like we did, and then we fuck up. And that is just Manchester United now, man. And you can have any manager in charge, like you said as well. I remember a few months ago we had a chat. I said, and you said to me as well about, our style of play would change. I agree with that. It would be good. But, playing better looking football won't change the fact that we're still not good enough and we're still not reaching the heights that we should be. And Manchester United are a club that set way high standards. And I hear people like my man who came on before me talking about, Eric Bailey and the gymnastics shit. Let's drop all the fucking jokes now. Yeah, let's just understand that every player on that pitch yesterday, minus McTominay and Wan-Bissaka. I think Wan-Bissaka played really well yesterday, to be honest with you. They were shit, other than them two, to be honest with you. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, if we played this player, we would have won. If we played this player, we would have won. Everyone has opinions, and people think what they say is just a fact. There is no team that we could have set out yesterday that would have, added or had way more, solid foundation going into that game. Because I look at Scott McTominay, I don't rate him too highly. I think his partnership with Fred is awful. I did like it as a short term kind of, you know, partnership until we got a DM in, but it's taken longer than expected. Everyone's now saying, you know, Marcus Rashford sitter, we would have won the game. We didn't take our chances, and substitutions were too late. That's two things. And then overall, the overall problem gets ignored. That the Glazers just don't give a shit. And when we lose these games, it's pretty. And just like when they bring a manager in, Terry, it's basically like a passive wink at the fans saying we're still here and we're still going to do what we want. So we can debate this for years. It's not going to change, bro. It's not.
Exactly. And like I said earlier, there's a comment here that says, "Who cares, man? Ollie out. It's the truth. He's inept." And that's again, I get so annoyed by those comments. Not because you're wrong in the Ollie being inept, but I get this feeling people feel that if we just change the manager, we go back to being brilliant. And we need so much to change behind the scenes for it to happen. I think that's my frustration, is everything's key stage one. Everything's just sack the manager and it gets better. I want Ollie gone. I want a better manager in. But if we don't improve the running of the football club, if qualification for the Champions League equals a new deal for any manager, things go wrong. And just look at Potch right now. Why is he leaving or looking to leave PSG? Because of the way the club's run. Because the club isn't run well enough. Because there's nonsense going on behind the scenes. So he wants to walk away. Now, they win the league almost every year because they're just more potent and more powerful than everybody else. That's why it's exceedingly embarrassing for them as a football club that they haven't won it this year. But Potch is looking to walk away because he's like, what the hell is this mess? And one of the reasons I want a better manager at our club, that everybody is almost universally behind coming in, generally speaking, is I think it could be, I know like the Super League was this catalyst that got everybody saying Glazer out. I do think 50% of people that did it for the gram, did it for social media. I don't think they really cared.
Absolutely.
I don't think they cared in their heart of hearts. I think a manager coming in that everybody is buzzing and excited about, being exposed in the same way, not getting the players that we want, bad runnings, bad standards, bad practices, and not achieving, it might actually trigger what we need as a fan base. So that's a separate key reason. But the positive side to it is, if they do make these changes as a club, they do raise the standards, they do bring in a better coach, better coaching staff, and get recruitment right, it could see us achieve the things in the league and in the Champions League that we want. So for me, it's almost win-win in my opinion. If you bring a top-class manager and they keep running the club badly, it will really make everybody see the wood for the trees. If they do run the club better with a higher level manager, we'll start winning stuff again. So for me as a Man United fan now, I feel like I'm in a win-win situation. We either get everybody on board and get everybody away from overtly focusing on players and managers as the reason for why the last 8 years has been a shit show. And or we go the other way where we start winning things again. Great call, mate. Great conversation. Really appreciate it, bro. Speak to you soon. Top man. Lots more calls to get through this morning. Tom Little's coming up. But first, man like eye test is in the house. What you saying, mate?
Yes, so yesterday I saw a manager that prepared, a manager that knows what he's doing, compared to a manager who's just a clown, to be honest. Like yesterday I saw Arteta, Emery, changing formations, on the sideline, shouting at the players, shouting instructions. Ollie was just sitting there playing with his watch. I saw a team in Villarreal that was structured, that knew what they're doing, that knew their plan. But Man United, like, we have the better players, but I don't know. Like, maybe when I hear people say, "Oh, but he needs Sancho, but he needs this guy and that guy." Come on, man. We have a better team than Villarreal, and I don't know, man. Even the players, man. I think.
Totally agree with that. This whole I saw people tweeting that again, hyperbolic, polarized nonsense from Ollie Inners last night. Oh, but if we had Sancho, but if we had a DM, but if Maguire was fit, we weren't playing Bayern Munich or Man City or a peak Barcelona team. We were playing a club 7th in La Liga. We were playing a club who have never been in a European final before. It's my point with both sides of this argument. Never focusing on key problems at the football club. That defending Ollie to that degree is stupid. It's just stupid. You know, we shouldn't need Sancho in the squad, Declan Rice in the squad, and Maguire fit to be able to lay a glove. The goalkeeper of Villarreal was so dodgy in that semi-final against Arsenal. I can't believe Arsenal didn't win. Even now, I can't believe they didn't win. We didn't test the geezer. He didn't make a save. He didn't have to make a save all game. One question I've got for you. Why do you think Ollie failed to make a sub in 90 minutes? What do you think his reasoning is for that?
There's no excuses. Like, you can't tell me, you can't give me the excuse of the squad depth isn't good enough, because who do Villarreal have on the bench? I don't know any of the players that came on for Villarreal. I don't know any. I don't even know most of the players that started, to be honest. But you know, Unai Emery changed it. He changed stuff. But so I'm not going to use that excuse. And also, I want to talk about Rashford as well. I think, you see, when I heard the point, I can't remember who said it. You see, when you play with Cavani, you can't play with inside forwards. I don't know why Rashford was playing. I think, you see, with Cavani, it would suit tactically. It would be smarter to play like a Daniel James, a pure winger that could put in crosses. You see the cross that Daniel. I'm not saying. Listen, I'm not saying Daniel James is a great player or anything like that, but you see, tactically, I think it would be smarter to play a pure winger, because Daniel James is a pure winger and he could put in crosses for Cavani, like that cross he put into Alanga. I've never ever seen Rashford put in a left-footed cross like that ever. Like, Daniel James can do that. He could go inside, he could go outside, and he could put in a cross with his left foot. So I think that would have been smarter, and it didn't make sense to play two inside forwards next to Cavani, because where's Cavani gonna get the deliveries? And Saka isn't a great fullback that's gonna put in crosses either. Shaw didn't do it yesterday, so tactically didn't make any sense for me.
I'm not too sure about the Dan. Look, Dan James did put a good cross in for Alanga the other day. I wouldn't have started him myself. He very much struggles against low block teams and no space. But you're absolutely right. Starting with the two inside forwards, Bruno and Cavani, didn't make sense because we had no creativity in those advanced positions. Everything, you know, we had Pogba in a deeper role, and it didn't work. And those are the areas where it's absolutely right to criticize Ollie. It was the wrong decision. And then there was no plan B. There was no one to bring off the bench to change it up from that point of view, because, well, there was actually one, and he didn't get on the field of play. And it was a disgrace that Donny van der Beek, with 5 substitutions available, it was an absolute disgrace that he didn't make it onto the football pitch in any way, shape, or form. And it didn't matter who he pulled off last night. But the fact that Rashford stayed on for the whole 90 minutes, I thought was a shambles. And I would have rather lost the game in 90 minutes or in extra time than played for penalties the way we did. That's one of the reasons I'm really embarrassed today as a Manchester United fan, because we played for penalties by bringing on more defensive-minded players than attacking players. Could have brought one Mata and Tellers on at the start of extra time and gone for it. You know, you expose yourself a little bit at the back, but go for it. Go to try and win. We could, you know, do you mean we could have had Tellers and Luke Shaw playing on the left-hand side? Both good crosses. Like, they would have done more than Rashford did. Do you get where I'm coming from, mate? Like, there's so much he could have done. So I totally get people today turning on Ollie and wanting him gone and wanting him out. It makes complete and utter sense. It's just a shambles and embarrassment. And I am of the belief right now, honestly, I feel like he should just hand his resignation in and say, you know what, I have taken this club as far as I can. And that's what I would like to see him do today. I really, really would. All right, Tess, appreciate you calling in, mate, and having your say. Really appreciate it. Top man. Thank you. Comment here from AKA says Potch will do better than this. I can't read that writing, mate. He's something are always dangerous. Teams are always dangerous. I think that's what you mean, bro. I'm not too sure why I've left out all those letters. But thank you very, very much for doing that. Next on the show, we're going to go to Tom Little. He's here with us. What you saying, bro?
It's going to be a merry-go-round in it this summer, and I don't think United are going to get on. I think United are going to stick with Solskjaer, and you're going to miss the boat to get a world-class manager in, and you'll regret it. Because as much as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer started this rebuild for you, and he's got you back to a decent spot, United are a club that now needs to take the next step, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not going to do that. and yes, they showed it. When the pressure's on, your team's not performing well. It's on you to make the tactical change. It's on you to make the right substitutions. Emery made 5 in normal time. Solskjaer made none, and you saw what happened in extra time. United were dead on the feet. United ended up playing for pens. Villarreal should have been the ones doing that. But extra time comes, and United are sat there on the back foot, shattered. Completely out because he's got his in-game management wrong. There's going to be a lot of managers coming and going, and especially with the Euros as well. People have got to take that into account. There's going to be international managers leaving. They might be wanting to go back into the club scene. I feel Zidane might go to France after this World Cup if it goes wrong and they sack Deschamps. Who knows? But there's a lot of good managers available in summer. But I feel the owners are going to stick by Solskjaer, and I feel you might regret that in the future.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. And look, everyone's going to have different views and opinions on Ollie. There's I see the comments there, make me laugh by Blue Moon. No system and no style, no patterns, and that talk's been had. That debate's been had. That everyone's got their views on that. Whether or not he's good enough, remains. Some people are still going to believe in Ollie that he can turn it around. I don't. I'm not as hyperbolic to say there's no system. I think Ollie's biggest issue is it isn't always. This is what's so frustrating about him, and it's like making me put my hands on my face because it annoys me because I want him to be a success, but I know he's not going to be because when his job's on the line, they and him turn up. I've seen him make in-game changes that have won us football matches. My problem is that the reason I don't think we will ever win major trophies with him is because when it comes to crunch games where the pressure's on us to win for trophy's sake, he freezes. He's like a rabbit in the headlights, if that makes sense. And that's why, that's about Jose. Jose's style of football isn't the problem. It's Jose's man management's behavior and attitude. So much of what goes wrong for managers is mentality and players. It's mentality and attitude and behavior over application, skill set, tactics. Because when there's no pressure, the football's all right. He played Pogba in an advanced role for weeks now. Weeks. And we've had more creativity. We've looked better, generally speaking, as a team. Comes to the final, and he bottles doing it, and he puts him back in midfield. And Pogba didn't have a great game there. I don't think he had a diabolical game. He just had a fairly average game. But he couldn't do anything from where he was because every Villarreal player was behind the ball. Pogba's got it in the midfield, and he's got 11 men in front of him. What's he meant to do? Like, he tried it a few times. Like, he had a few really good diagonal balls and pinpoint passes, but it was hard to play the ball in behind a team that was so deep. What we needed was Pogba 10, 20, 30 yards further up the field of play. Last night, you could have played with McFred. Do you know why? You could even play with Matic because they weren't attacking us. You didn't need the mobility in midfield because
they were in midfield all the time in the world to pick out the passes.
So and that's for me why I'm done as far as I'm concerned, because he got his tactics wrong and he went all in. He reminded me last night of a boxer whose tactics are, I've got to knock out my opponent in the first 3 rounds, and if I don't, I'm going to be gassed, so I'm going to lose. And that's what we did. We went out. It was almost like we didn't actually play heavy metal football, but it's like we put all our chips in. We tried something. It didn't work. We fought really hard at the beginning of the second half to get the equalizer. We had about 10 minutes bill after that, and then we died. But where I really got upset with Ollie is you've got Tellus, and you had Mata, you had Ahmad, you had Donny van der Beek. Those players, for me, can be used from an offensive point of view. Tellus, because you can just stick him on the left-hand side on the attack, put him whipping balls into the box. There's 4 attacking substitutions. And I could look at the bench again. Maybe there was another one. But those 4, Dan James, I suppose, as well, right? Those 5 players could all be used from an attacking point of view earlier to change this game, and he didn't do it. So it isn't even that his in-game management, well, it was bad. It was just but it was a negative approach. When he brought Fred on, I just thought, my first thought was, you dickhead. Why would you do that? Like, it doesn't even make sense. But that's because in that clutch moment, the pressure's on. And for him, I just don't want to lose it. I just don't want to lose it. And that, for me, is why he's not going to be good enough. It isn't his actual tactical nous, because if he didn't feel that pressure, he would have brought on an attack-minded player to try and win it. So it's not, it's
panicked.
handling the pressure.
That's what it is. He panicked. You know, the great managers, they take them risks, and sometimes they'll come off. I mean, that Fergie interview you did with Gary Neville, the reason they got so many last-minute goals is because you take your risks. Sometimes it doesn't come off, but if you don't try it, it's never going to come off. You just played it too safe and gambled on pens. But if you're going to gamble on pens, why have you taken Paul Pogba off, who's one of your better penalty takers? I know it didn't impact them, but still, like, he's one of your better penalty takers. He's taken them on some of the biggest stages, and he's taken off for Daniel James, who didn't even get the chance to actually attack because Villarreal just cut off his style of attack. It was complete. He's a decent manager, but he's not a great manager. And Manchester United need a great manager now because he's taken the decentness, he's achieved the decent level. But United isn't a decent club.
Mate, I completely agree. Listen, Tom, thanks for phoning in and having your say. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very much here, my friend, for becoming a first team member of the Football Terrace today. Let's do some more of your live comments that are coming through here. Ollie knew yesterday, regardless, he is not getting sacked. And Chris, there in itself lies the root cause of the problem. Absolutely. Absolutely. Terry, you confuse me. It's not confusing to not think Ollie's a good enough manager, but at the same time, not to recognize some of the good things that he's done, but equally know that although he's not a good enough manager and that not everything he does is right, that the biggest problem at the club is the Glazers. It's not confusing. You don't need to be polarized. Anybody that thinks that just sacking the manager and the club not operating in a different way, not raising its standards at the very least, and just appointing a better manager is going to improve the club, you are wrong. You're systematically wrong in every single way, shape, and form. So, like I say, I don't get what's confusing. What? For you to say I'm confusing, what do you mean by I'm confusing? I don't get it. I don't understand what's hard to follow. Is Ollie a good enough manager? No. To get us back to the top. Has he improved some things at the club? Yes. Does he have some good attributes as a manager? Yes. Is he good enough to make us win big titles? No. Does sacking Ollie fix the club? No. Do we need the club to operate better and have higher standards? Yes. That's not confusing. That's just normal. It is what it is. People say fence merchant. I don't get how that's sitting on a fence. I'm having a conversation with you here now. How's that sitting on the fence? How? Phone up and have your say. How is it sitting on the fence? I just don't stand shoulder to shoulder with Ollie Outers because some of them say some nasty things about Ollie, and I won't stand shoulder to shoulder with them. Don't stand shoulder to shoulder with Ollie Inners either, because those people are mad. They really are. They really are. Super chat here says Terry Klopp lost the League Cup final, Europa League final, and Champions League final in his first 3 years. Ollie is not Klopp though. Bottom line, I agree. I'm not. I have definitely not thrown that argument in. Terry, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Your opinion is not the only right one. Some of us do believe the manager could change things. Yeah, that's fine. But how am I sitting on the fence? I'm giving an opinion. Would Potch improve us? Yes. Yes, he would. Would Zidane improve us? Yes. But if the club doesn't operate differently, we will still not get back to the promised land where we want to be. I don't understand what's so controversial about that comment. Does anybody think that the Glazers continue to run the club how they have done for the last 8, 9, 10 years, but with Potch, we're going to go back to dominating the Prem, being consistently competitive in Europe? Does anybody actually think that? If you do, phone up and have your say. Of course, you're entitled to your opinion. That's why the Football Terrace exists. Tell me what other fan-based YouTube channel lets their viewers call up every single day to express opinions. Tell me one that does it every day. In the comment section now, write down what other YouTube channel lets you phone up and express your opinions every day. To act like I suppress opinion? It's the biggest lie ever told. The biggest lie ever told. It's crazy. Next on the show, we're going to get Shirim. Shirim's a Liverpool fan. What are you saying, mate?
Oh, mate. Hey, you're right. Gosh. I just want to say, first and foremost, thank you for being about. I've lost all my United friends. They're all gone missing since last night. If you can find them, please let me know. I'm really worried about them. But I just wanted to talk about the match mainly. I think the main problem is that there wasn't any intensity in that game. Like, I kind of agreed with that starting lineup. I think that was the best thing you can go for. But I think the intensity in the game management was very poor. And I was kind of comparing it to what Liverpool have done under Jurgen Klopp. He went to a League Cup final, a Europa League, 2 Champions Leagues. I'm going to include the Charity Shield, the Super Club, and the Club World Cup. I think, I remember for a fact, we only played good in 45 minutes of all those matches put together. And that was just the Europa League final. The rest, we weren't that good, but we just got the job done. And the game management and the intensity was there to get us over the line. So I think that's the main thing what I took from that match. And in terms of whether to get rid of Ollie or not, he's on his last year, hasn't he? He's in the contract.
Yes.
So I'm not sure whether to get rid. I personally think maybe just get the players in that you need to, get good balance in the squad for next season. Next season is going to be tough anyway. Let him shovel shit for a season and then get the right manager in and get some time in for your director of football to bed in and understand what he wants to do, come out with the ideas properly, and then go look for a manager. It's always easy to be knee-jerk and just get rid of the manager because he made a mistake and, well, he's lost the final, he's not good enough. But then once you get rid of him, it's like, right, what's the plan? What's the identity? What are you trying to go for, kind of thing? So I just think that, maybe just take a step back, take a deep breath, see what's on the horizon. And then if it means keep Ollie for a season, just bite the bullet. And, from next season onwards, you can start looking for the right man and seeing what you can bring in.
Yeah, I do you know what it is? I feel like the reason I bring Potch up is there's a lot of talk out of United that Potch was the guy they wanted for a long time.
Yeah.
And they missed the boat. And it now seems he's available again. So don't miss the boat again. If there was if tomorrow Pep said, I'm leaving Man City, and the word is he'd manage anybody, I don't care who we've got as our coach and how well he's doing, sack him, bring him in. But there's this element for me where I just sort of feel like sometimes you have to be ruthless, like you would be with players to a degree. And but the reason why we can't, I don't think, do it with the management is because we don't have a strong enough base behind who the manager is. We can't go off in a brand new direction and start rebuilding from the ground up. It needs to be a manager that can pick up whatever the plan of action is behind the scenes that Ollie's been creating with the board and with Woodward, etc. It needs to be somebody to grow from that point moving forward, not someone who comes in and says, I want to undo everything and start everything all over again, because that's why. There's a comment here from Matthew that says Van Gaal and Jose won cups with the Glazers. Not saying the Glazers are right, but shows you there. But see, again, Matthew, I'm trying to sound respectful. I'm very disappointed and angry today, but I'm trying to sound respectful when I say this. When I say Man United getting back to the promised land, winning a few League Cups
and Champions Leagues.
Yes, it's being continuously. Man United, with the money we have, we should be continually in the top 3 in the Premier League, continually the majority of seasons challenging for titles like we did under Fergie. That's where Man United should be, there or thereabouts. The occasional year you might have a drop off and you bounce back again, like City last year as an example. That's where we should be. My point is, since Fergie left, we haven't done that once. We haven't had a title challenge once. We've won a handful of trophies in that time. That isn't the standard I set either. And I honestly think, I know Potch would make us play better football. I think under Potch, I think under Conte, I think under Zidane, I think they could win us trophies and cups.
Well,
I think every now and then we might challenge. But when I talk about getting back to the promised land, it's being there or thereabouts almost every single year. And with the way we operate as a football club, I just don't see it being plausible. That's why it's a horrible feeling right now.
But I think as well, like Zidane, Conte, Pochettino, they're the type of managers who won't take shit from the owners. And if they're not bring in what the managers want, they'll walk. They'll easily walk. Pochettino's apparently doing it this season. Conte's kicked off with what, Chelsea, Juve, Inter. So he's got form of kicking off with boards in the past. And Zidane's walked away from Madrid twice now. So they have form in terms of they will walk away. They won't take nothing from United whatsoever.
And that's what I said. I don't know if you were on backstage back then, but that's what I said earlier. That's why for me it's win-win by going for one of these managers. And again, I think some people want to be sort of I think a lot of people want to have smoke blown up their ass, and they want to be told they want to almost hear it from a credible journalist or a big YouTuber or an ex-United legend they respect, that if we bring in Potch, we'll be back to our best, because that's really easy, isn't it? It's that, you know, like in life sometimes we think, oh, do you know what? If I go out and buy myself a new car, my depression will go away. Or do you know what I mean? It's that like one little thing will make your whole life perfect.
But then again, sorry, go on.
No, I'm just saying it isn't that simple. I think that some Man United fans just, I don't think in their heart of hearts they believe it, but they almost want to live in cloud cuckoo land, where they just think one perfect managerial appointment gets us back to the Fergie era. And I don't think they realise that there's so much more work that needs to be done before that. I'm just not going to sit here and spread those kind of lies.
You've had Van Gaal, you've had Mourinho, and like that comment just said, like, oh, they won trophies, but it's like, where did you guys finish up when they left? How were you guys when they left? Like, I'm sure Van Gaal left you guys in what, 5th, 6th with an FA Cup? Like, is that good enough for United? I don't think so. No, like I'm born in a United era where top 2, top 3 max, you know, you can get away with. Like, anything below that is not good enough. And trophy titles, Champions League, well, titles mainly, like, that is the be all and end all, and that's the only thing. Like, Fergie coined that line, wasn't it? Second place is first failure. You know, and you have to get to that point because you're in the wilderness. It's been 8 years. It's so mental. Like, 8 years ago, I was in uni. Now I'm literally talking to you while I'm on my work laptop, 30 with a bad back. Like, times have changed. You have to now sit back, reassess where you are, and just kind of have like an idea of where you want to be and how you're going to get there. And I feel like knee-jerk reactions right now is going to unravel that. Don't get me wrong, you said if Pep Guardiola's around, hypothetically, yeah, I'd go for him. But you can get them in, but you might not be ready for those managers because you can't deliver what they want.
I agree, but that's why I want them in.
Yeah.
Because we even make the changes to make it work, and if it works, we all win and we're happy. And I don't care for because this is what will happen with in fan wars online. Say Potch comes in and Man United make all the fundamental changes needed to get us back to the top, and then he's very successful. They'll say, see, Terry, a manager changed it. They'll ignore that there was all these changes behind the scenes that helped get to that point. But I won't care because we'll be winning. And that's all I want as a Man United fan. The other end of the spectrum is they come in and they do what Potch is doing almost 1 year in, and that's walking away from PSG because of what's going on.
I need to go. Right, cheers. I can't hear you guys again. I'm sorry.
You can't hear us. All right, mate. No problem.
See you later, mate. Cheers.
Top man. Thank you. That does the StreamYard does that something, and that's my point here. That's my point with all of this. It's please do not delude yourselves. Do not trick yourselves. Do not buy into the hype that just appointing a new manager and new coaches is going to get us back to the top. It isn't. We need to be far more demanding of this club overall. Do not allow one major signing to make you or the release of a really wavy kit to make you think that all is good at Manchester United, because it's not. I agree wholeheartedly with people that Ollie isn't good enough, but I still stand by my fervent beliefs that this club has got bigger problems than Ollie. Daniel here says it's a good thing Man United fans aren't as happy as Liverpool fans and Arsenal fans. That means United didn't meet what the fans want. I hear you on that. We didn't, and we have to be very honest about that. This is Liverpool 2.0. Reminds me of when Kenny left in 1990. I kind of get you on that. Young ones won't remember that. Thank you there, Wizard. Listen, I said it already, and I mean it. Some Man United fans just want to be lied to. They want, do you know what it is? If Man United don't make fundamental changes in terms of the expectations, the way we've run, the CEO, the recruitment, and everything else that goes on. Bringing in a better manager, it's like a married couple thinking that having a baby is going to save their marriage. That's it. That's the analogy. A new coach without fundamental changes behind the scenes changes very little. We'll look prettier, we'll play better football, and that'd be good for us. But if we're all serious about not settling for mediocrity, if we're all serious about only being happy when we're challenging regularly for Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues, we can't do that without changes behind the scenes. And people shouldn't lose sight of what people were protesting 4 or 5 weeks ago, because that still remains today. The Ollie situation, yeah, 100%. But we have to still demand bigger changes behind the scenes. How you doing, Cage?
Man, still frustrated from last night, man. Flipping. On reflection, yeah, as a fan base, we need serious questions of what we are as a club. I think one of the issues is partly is the fact that we still believe that we're this great, massive team whose board want to win, whose manager it has the pressure to win, whose players have the pressure to win. That's not here. That's not what we are right now. And we have to just admit and accept the fact we're just a normal club. We are a normal club, no different from Crystal Palace, no different from Everton, no different from any of those guys. We are normal now. And that is the hard truth that we have to accept as United fans. You know what's bad? You know what people say? Let go of the past, innit? We've been holding on, hoping that the good times are going to return. They're not returning anytime soon. They're not. And as a fan base, we need to find a new way of supporting the team and the club, because the old way of expecting titles, expecting Champions League, expecting trophies, it ain't happening. So there's a lot of wasted energy. It's a lot of wasted support, a lot of wasted emotion. Do you think other teams, of mid-table teams, of teams battling relegation, need to feel this way when it comes to a cup final? Do you think Villarreal, if they had lost, would have felt this way when it comes to a cup final? No, because they understand what their club is. They understand. Man United fans, we're deluded, man. We are deluded. We basically got parents with money who don't care. And those kids thinking that their parents love them when they clearly don't. We need to let it go, man. We need to, honestly, we need to let it go. And realize what we are, which is normal. Simple as.
Nah. I agree. It's like I say, mate. It's this. Go back to this coach thing again. I think a lot of fans this morning just want to be. They want what you're saying there. Let's just go out and buy a shiny new toy, a new manager, and everything's going to be okay. It isn't. Do you know what I mean? I swear there's a meme where like someone's house behind them is burning down, and they're just sort of like, I don't know what the meme is. Like there's nothing to see here, or like things.
Oh yeah, no, everything's fine. You're sitting there, everything's fine when the house is burning down.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. That's what just bringing a new manager in does. The only way a new manager brings, and it's about the standards thing, isn't it? We the standards are gone because the owners have allowed the standards to go. And I'm not deflecting away from Ollie, but that's the sobering. And this is the point. It makes, honestly, I want to scream because people are missing the point, and not my opinion. They're missing the point, which is so clear and obvious in front of everyone's face. I want to be able to sit here and just shout Ollie out, bring me a new manager, will improve, like Chelsea did with Tuchel. I'm desperate to do that, but I'm saying it, and in the back of my head, I've got a voice going, stop though, because we know what's going to happen. We know where we're going to end up. You know, look at Tottenham right now as an example. They got rid of Potch, and then they went in this whole new direction, and they started making all these bad decisions over the last couple of years. What are they looking to do? Let's just go back to the formula that was working for us when they were being run well, when they were operating correctly. They realized that deviation of running but they're trying to fix it. And they're trying to go back to a point where they're going to run things properly again. Why is Poch and why are Conte leaving their two respective clubs? Inter are run so poorly. I know the pandemic hasn't helped because of the financial situation, right? So that's cool. But they've been run so poorly as a club, they can't afford to keep this title-winning team together. They can't. So Conte's leaving. The politics are so bad at PSG. They're such a poorly run club in its realness. They've got one of the best up and coming young managers in the world who wants to walk away less than a year into his job because he doesn't want to be in a toxic environment. You know what I mean? And if Man United were in a league where it was a one-horse race, we wouldn't notice these things as much because they win the league nearly every year, though. Yeah, but they should be. It's how do they do elsewhere? And that's the point. We're not well run, and that's the bit today that's making me really angry. That I want to just scream Ollie out. I want to just scream sack the manager, give me Potch, and we'll be okay. But I don't think we will, mate. I just don't think we will.
I look at Chelsea, yeah, and Man City. Either of them lose a final. If one of them will lose the final, clearly, obviously, only one team can win. But the team that loses, they will be upset because they lost the final, but they'll be excited for the future. You know what I mean? We can't even be excited for the future. It's literally just, what the hell do we do next? Like, what are we? Like, literally, the question is, what are we? And we are not good. That is the main thing. As a club, we may have great players. We may have not even great players because kind of win the Europa League. We may have good players. We may have good players, but we're not a good club. We're not a good club.
It's true. There's a comment here from Zaza that says, Terry, you disappointed me yesterday. You were honest today. You try to be rational, but the board didn't spend 300 million on okay players and defenders to concede every time the same goal or bring a sub on after 90 minutes. Well, they did because the board sanctioned those players. The board appointed the recruitment team and the board are offering Ollie a new contract because he made it into the top four. They are accepting of what Ollie does. That's the point. I don't understand. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, Zaza. Ollie is inept in particular areas. He hasn't got the clutch mentality and mindset, and he isn't good enough, in my opinion, to get us winning major trophies. But the board are happy with him. And if they're happy with him, that should tell you all you need to know about how we operate and what our driving forces are as a football club. Thus, back to my point, Zaza. We could bring in Pep tomorrow, Klopp tomorrow, Potch tomorrow, Conte tomorrow. They are not going to accept the way the club is run. And do you know how we know this? Jurgen Klopp said no to us because of how we're run as a football club. That should tell you all you need to know. So I understand why Ollie is the focal point. I agree with 95% of the things people say about Ollie. What I disagree with is people thinking that the world's going to be okay if he leaves and moves on. We've said this 3 or 4 managers running. That's all I'm saying here. We had some super chats. I didn't want to miss these. There's 3 of them here. First one says, Ollie doesn't trust his bench. Reasons for the late subs. I hear you on that.
That's a managerial thing because you're telling me that Villarreal's bench is better than ours.
Yeah, I totally. I could, Derek. I don't disagree with you that Ollie don't trust his bench, but he's wrong to. That's something where that's on Ollie. That's an Ollie thing, and that's awful. But if I'm running Man United today, I'm looking at that and I'm talking to my colleagues on the board, and I'm saying I don't know what words they use at their level. These highly educated posh people, but for me, it's like he ain't clutch. He hasn't got the minerals or the mentality in these moments. Because for me, Sir Alex Ferguson, Fergie wouldn't have gone all out, leaving one player at the back. But Fergie would have brought on, at some point in that game, and 2 or 3 of them within the 90 minutes, every player with attacking intent he could. Tellus would have come on. Mata would have come on. Ahmad would have come on. He would have given do you know how we know Fergie would have given a youngster a go if he had 5 subs? All I'm just going to say is 2 words. Kiko Makeda. He would have done it. He would have turned around and gone, do you know what? Go and be the... I would have... If I was a board member and my manager isn't prepared to try and win, I would have gone for it and lost. I'd have still been angry, but I wouldn't have been as annoyed at Ollie. The fact I'm annoyed is that from the 80th minute of that game, we played for penalties and we're meant to be Man United. That lack of mentality should be a sackable offence. But that's where my anger is. That should be a sackable offence. But under our regime, it isn't.
On our regime, it's rewardable with a new contract. It makes no flipping sense.
Let's push past key stage one. Let's peel back the onion here and go past the problem at the end of our nose. That is the issue. I get why everyone's angry with Ollie. My anger goes beyond that. Because why are our club allowing that to happen? It's another super chat here. Thank you. I'm so happy Man United fans understand who they are right now. Top players are not coming because of your big history. Top players are not coming because you're big in history, but not now.
So it's about to say they were coming for history, but
I hear you on that. Terry, KJ, Neeks, Cam, this Ollie in echo chamber. No. You're all in is absolutely mad. The narrative you would win the league with a better manager is wild.
Yeah, can I address that? Because me and Terry have never said we were Ollie in. We've always denounced that title because we both said on multiple occasions we don't think it's good enough to win trophies, but we're willing to be proven wrong. We were being fair with Ollie. I don't see how being fair with someone is now considered Ollie in. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen Ollie outers who are fair with Ollie. You know what I mean? Who gave him credit where credit is due and criticize the way he needs to be criticized. So no, I'm not in the mud for. Why should I be in the mud for hoping my manager does well and wanting him to do well? Like I don't consider myself in the mud. I'm in the mud for the fact that I support Man United and that's it. Nothing to do with Ollie.
I went and got some breakfast this morning and I was driving and I said a lot of tweets last night from people sort of like, anyone who ever backed Ollie, don't chat to me today. And I'm sort of like, that ain't it. That's not the one, man. That's a bad take because I could speak to myself. I know for you, we do a lot of shows together that we've always had reservations over Ollie and thoughts that he may not be there. But congratulating him when he wins or saying that, it depends on the subject matter, but, his handling of Paul Pogba has been brilliant. That remains today. For as angry as I am at Ollie, somebody says, do you think he's handled the Pogba situation well? I'll say yes in terms of that. Do I think he has some tactics and style? Yes. Do I think it's the best? No. There's a difference there. I don't think there's been very few people on the channel. Alfie is one who are staunch Ollie in. Until I see regression, I'm not going to. But even then, they said until they see regression, they're not going to change their minds. They're not Ollie in unequivocally. But I think obviously social media is a very polarized world, and it's either you. If you say one positive thing about him, you're in the in category. And if you get what I mean, it's just the way it is. But listen, I appreciate your super chat. But yeah, there's no Ollie in echo chamber here. And do you know why there's no Ollie in or out echo chamber here? We're the only fan channel on the internet that every day does at least 2 or 3 streams where you, the viewers, can phone in and have your say and express your opinions. Tyler here says, after last night's performance, this is grounds to be sacked. Yes, the board is bad. We all know that, but we can't just be content with Ollie.
It's not about being content with Ollie. It's about realizing why he will still be here. You know what I mean? Like we want him gone. I personally, I'm not this person screaming getting out of my club because I feel like, if he was in a role that was player liaison or player relations, he'll be fine because he's nowhere near the dugout. You know what I'm saying? It's not about being content with him. It's about why is he going to stay? The reason why he's going to stay is because the people who hire him have the power to sack him are going to say, okay, well done, Ollie. You got top 4 again. No one cares about the trophies. Europa League. We go again next year. It's all good. They're the reason why he's staying. You can say Ollie can resign, yes, but at the end of the day, if you believe in yourself, rightly or wrongly, if you believe in yourself, you're not going to just leave. You know what I mean? Not Ollie anyway. Like, he's not just going to leave because he probably knows that this is his dream job. So why would he quit? Why would he give?
I completely agree. Listen, Cage, thank you very much for coming on, mate. We're going to do a few more callers before the end of the show. Top man, thank you. Viewers, hit that like and that share button. Make sure you're subscribing and you've turned on the bell notifications as well. A lot of stick for myself today in the comments, which is part of the course, as it were. Who are we going to go to next? We're going to go to Kish on the show next. What are you saying, Kish?
Yo, what's up, Terry? Thanks for having me, man. I think this has been dating back from last season against Sevilla in the semi-final. This man made substitutions in the 87th minute, And I mean, just the season that has finished, he's been making late substitutions. And, you know, I saw someone commentary said he doesn't trust his bench. And it is true. But, you know, all along I was thinking that you take the risk, it's a final, you know, you put on a Diallo, you put on a Donovan van der Beek, because you're just looking for that specific moment to get that goal. You know, you're not expecting a player to play a full good 20 minutes for the rest of the period that's remaining in the game. You just want that one special moment. But, you know, moving forward, I think this is the first time in a long while where there are actually good managers out there that we could possibly get, but it doesn't mean it's going to fix the problem for the future. Because if you look at City, Liverpool, they have owners who care. And, you know, people might pass remarks about FSG, but guess what they do, Terry? They put people in place that when they invest money, they make sure that it is invested in the right players. United, they have invested money, but it's not been invested in the right players, you know. And it comes down all to this. As I say, these are the symptoms that built up to this loss in the finals. It wasn't really down to Rashford missing that specific chance. Yeah, it was part of it, but it's just a minor issue, microscopic, you know. So moving forward, I think, you know, we have to sit down, the board have to sit down with the manager. And to me, they're comfortable getting top four, and he's been doing that for 2 seasons now. And if they're going to give him money to invest for next season, they may be saying to him, you know, you make top four again, cup competition run-ins. If you make that, we're good with you. But it's just not good enough for Manchester United, you know.
Mate, totally agree. Totally agree with what you're saying there, mate. I do, bro. Thank you for coming on and having you say this morning. Really appreciate that, my guy. Thank you. Next up, we're gonna go to Fixer. What you saying? Morning, mate.
Hello, Terry. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, fine, mate. What do you want to say?
Yeah, man. Yesterday was heartbreaking for me, man. I mean, I supported. I mean, I wasn't an Ole in guy, but I was never an Ole out guy. But what I come to realize yesterday is the problem of Manchester United over the past 4 years is 60-40. It's 40% the Glazers and it's 60% Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's fault. This guy is the most clueless, moronic manager I have ever seen. Like, how can you? Okay, look at what happened the last game we played. We played Wolverhampton. Who was the man of the match? Donny van de Beek. And barely a week later, you're playing the final, and you don't even give this guy a second. When the game was the game was there to be won, Villarreal weren't even that good. They were scared. There was a part of the game where there was a time of the game where you could actually see that they were scared. They were panicking because we had all these attacks going, but we just didn't have the players who can turn up on the day. Pogba was absolutely rubbish yesterday. I don't care what anybody said. That guy should be sold out of Man United. I can count his good games on both hands. How many high-profile games you can count them? If you can count them, then that means he's shit. He's been here 4 years, and you can literally count the high-profile games where he performed. He's rubbish. Get rid of him. Like, what does he do for us? Nothing. He scored 5 goals, and the other day, was it Bits and Bobs telling me, oh, he scored 5 goals for. So what? When it matters, he never turns up. Apart from his first season, when it matters, this guy never shows up. He's shit. Get rid of him. Send him to PSG. That's his level. He needs to be with those kind of luxury party players. He's not a player that's disciplined, who's ready to work out, who's ready to grind for a team. He's not. Send him to Real Madrid, where everything is fine and dandy, where this guy can just have fun. That's where he's meant to be. Man United is not the place for him. Rashford has turned a corner. Rashford went from being the most industrial player in our team to being a fucking passenger. He scores 1 goal and then he relaxed the whole game. He didn't even score yesterday. He had a golden opportunity and he bottled it because he's not focused. He thought he had already scored before the ball came to him. He just, you know. And the worst part about it is, Solskjaer, when it comes to I told you the other day that he always changes something at the vital minute. Look at what he did in the last semi-final we was at, where he changed Sergio Romero on the day of the semi-final and we lost. This season, he used to play Henderson in the Europa League and played De Gea in the league. And then what happened? When De Gea went to Spain, he switched it. Why did you switch it? It was going well before. Why are you changing it? If he hadn't changed it, Henderson would be the goalie yesterday. And out of 10 penalties, Henderson will save 1. I'll bet my life on it. I'll bet my house on it. Henderson will save at least 1. He will save 1, guaranteed. I'm just sick of it, man. Like, this club is like, we just need to get rid of Solskjaer. The Glazer thing, another thing, we can sort out as we go. But for now, get rid of Solskjaer. We have managers available now. We have Zidane, and nobody should call Poch because Poch is the same. Poch is literally Where's Poch from? Argentina. He's Argentinian Solskjaer. They're the same guy. They're literally the same person. This guy went to PSG and they couldn't win the league in a team where that PSG have been winning the league for like 5 years straight. They have the best players like by mouth. They're like the gap between PSG and the second team is like the gap between Manchester City and West Brom. It's like he should have won the league and he didn't. And he bottled the Champions League against Liverpool too. So why are people calling Poch? Poch is literally the Argentinian version of Solskjaer. Fuck that. Let's get Zidane. Let's get the other guy that is available now. What's the name of the other dude? There's another guy that Conte. Let's get Conte. Let's get guys that can take us out of this mare we're in, man. Let's just get guys that who they're not even gonna give a fuck about the Glazers. They won't even care about all that shit. They'll come in there, earn their salary, and they'll coach the team to win 1 or 2 trophies, and that's it. And then they'll go home. Not guys that come and be like, oh, I'm not getting back, crying every day. Oh. Screw all that shit. Let's just get people who can come in and sort us out, because I'm sick of it. I've had enough, mate. I had a fucking enough. Right over.
Victor, you feel better now you've got that out. Cathartic.
Yeah, man.
Listen, look, I agree with nearly everything you said. I'm not gonna debate it and pull too much up in terms of the 60-40 thing. I feel the balance is the other way around. But either way, we're in the mud, and I think sometimes we as fans spend too much time fighting over things that are actually not that important. But we know where we are as a football club and the problems that we're in. And one thing I agree with you on. It's win-win bringing a better manager in. I've had a few people in the comments saying, Terry, why have you changed your stance on Ollie? I haven't. My stance has been the same the whole time. I don't think he's good enough to get us over the line. I've just fluctuated between whether or not I think getting rid of him is the right or wrong thing because of how we operate as a football club. But I'm now of the mindset because, of course, education through experience enables you to make a more informed decision or opinion in life. And as far as I can see now, you bring in a better manager who is a little bit, who's very, I don't know if the word would be, who isn't agreeable. I don't know what the opposite to agreeable is. It was unagreeable or inagreeable. I don't know that I'm not educated enough to know, but I'll just say someone who isn't agreeable. We know Zidane, we know Conte, kick off.
Yeah,
we know,
they fight with their balls all the time. They fight with their
whether you want Potch or not. Potch, the way he's looking to leave PSG, with everything that happened at Tottenham, he doesn't put up with any crap either. You can see that in those actions. We need to bring someone in that's either going to make the club make the further changes needed to get us to the top, or they will expose to the world how bad these guys are. Maybe then we'll get real universal kind of togetherness around pushing things forward. Fixer, though, great call, mate. Thanks for coming on and having your say. Really appreciate that, my guy. Thank you. Next up, within one more call today. So many people to pick from. We're going to go to Mo. Mo is a Man United fan. What are you saying, mate?
Morning, Terry. My honest opinion is I want him to do well, Solskjaer. I didn't want him to lose the final. However, personally for me, I think this summer transfer window is last chance saloon, Terry. If he doesn't get this summer transfer window right, my personal opinion is he's gone. My personal opinion is I think they're going to bring in Pochettino. I think that deal is going to be done. I think if Poch leaves PSG, Terry, he's not going anywhere. He's going to go to United. This time he's not going to go back to Spurs. He's not going to go anywhere. He's going to go Man United. That deal will happen. That is guaranteed. They're not going to go for Conte. They're not going to go for Zidane. They're not going to go for Allegri. They're going to go for Potch.
Why are you so sure of that?
I think personally for me, they've done the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and it's not worked. And they're looking at Zidane. They're looking at they're not going to. I think with Pochettino, Terry, that's the fans. Fans want Pochettino. He's proven in the Premier League. He knows the league. They want this guy, Terry, and that's the manager they want, Terry. I think everyone knows. I think personally for me, next summer Pochettino will probably be announced at Man United. I think they give Solskjaer another season. I don't think he's going to do anything. It's been 2.5, 3 years, unless he gets the summer transfer window right and he can progress and move on and win a trophy and build that winning mentality. I don't see it happening. And it's going to be Pochettino. It's so obvious. I think with Pochettino, Pochettino will probably say, look, I waited for Man United. It didn't happen. I went to PSG. That's flopped. He's gonna wait for United. He'll wait this time. He'll say, look, whenever you want me, I'll come back. I'll go to United. But he's not gonna. I don't see Man United getting any other manager. They're not going to go for Zidane, Terry. They won't go for Conte, and they won't go for Allegri. It's going to be Pochettino. Will be the main guy they want. I don't think the board want anyone else, Terry.
Listen, Mo, appreciate you phoning in, having your say. Viewers, do you agree with Mo in relation to Poch coming to Manchester United? Leave your comments. Let us know what you think and feel. Everyone that's tuned in today, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Remember, there is no echo chamber here at the Football Terrace. I may have my opinions. KJ has his, Neeks, Anita and Co. will all have their own opinions, but we give you the chance 2 or 3 times a day, every day, to phone in free of charge, to have your say live on the air about whatever subject matters we're talking about. We're back in a few hours' time. As always, do me a big favor. Hit the like button. Hit the share button. But until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see